Hello and welcome back to my craft room. This is just going to be quite a quick one today because I'm quite short of time, catching my tail as always. I'm just finishing off a little project ready to put in the post to the lovely Gina Roberts, who won it in last weekend's Saturday night arty farty party. And I just thought it was a good opportunity to share some ideas for different ways that you can use little slow stitched pieces. One of the questions I get asked quite often in the comments, I don't know if other YouTube crafters find the same thing, but one of the things I get asked fairly often is, that's very pretty, but what are you going to do with it? What's it for? And I always think, don't have to be for anything, it's just for the joy of doing it. There doesn't have to be a purpose for me. I mean, you could say the same about any hobby. What's gardening for? You know, what's watching the telly for? I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's what brings us joy. It gives my head something to do, and I love playing with the fabrics and the colours and the threads and all the, you know. It doesn't have to be for anything at all. Slow stitching is a way to relax, chill out, and just enjoy the process for me. But having said that, if you do end up with a little stash of gorgeous slow stitch pieces and you'd like to find a purpose for them, it is always nice to make these little pieces into something that you're going to use and enjoy and look at every day. So these are just a few little ideas. As I say, what made me think about this is that I'm just finishing one off to send to Gina. Now I can't take credit for the slow stitching because that was done by Maggie Morris. If you're watching, I'm sure you'll probably already be familiar with Maggie Morris's beautiful embroideries. And Maggie recently, I'm going to show you in a second, last September, I actually was lucky enough to meet up with Maggie. We met up down in Cornwall. She gave me some of her gorgeous slow stitched embroidered pieces. She's given me some before. She sent me some ages ago, a couple of years ago. Gorgeous things. I will try and remember. I'm going to make myself some notes here. I will try and remember to leave a link to that video where I opened those pieces for Maggie. I was just like blown away. Got enormous numbers of views on that video, and I think a lot of it was because people were saying to me, I went back and watched it all again. So yeah, this just in September, Maggie gave me a selection of her beautiful pieces and said, feel free to do what you like with them, use them for giveaways, whatever. I've already given a couple of them away and just sent them as they are. One went to Australia, one gone to the States, and this time it was Gina that won this little piece. Let me show you. So the little piece of stitchery, this was the little piece of stitchery. Now my camera is not, it's not doing a bad job actually, but it's kind of, there's more, that looks purple, that's actually kind of a lilac-y colour. The whole thing is kind of more purpley than it looks. But that's a pretty good, that limey green and that kind of turquoisey blue are pretty good. This is just slightly more purpley. What I thought I'd do this time, rather than just send the piece as is, I thought I'd turn it into a needlebook. And that's what I've just got to finish doing before I parcel it up to send to Gina. All I did with this one was to cut a couple of pieces of felt and just did a straight stitch down the centre here. If it comes through here, it doesn't matter because it's all covered with stitching anyway. This is just such a beautiful example of slow stitching. What Maggie does a lot is just stitch into the pattern that's already printed on the fabric, or sometimes she stencils or stamps a pattern and stitches into that, and just takes the needle for a walk, basically echoing the pattern that's already there, or covering it with gorgeous slow stitching like this. Just straight stitching is just beautiful, isn't it? But I thought this will make a perfect little needlebook. I'll just put some finishing touches to it. So as I said, I've just done those couple of pieces of felt in there. One would be enough really. I thought I dug out this needle threader because I thought that'd be a handy thing to have, and I thought I'll attach that on a cord. I've got some pieces of cord. This is just crochet cotton. And then I'll also, I think, just cut a small pocket. This is something that when we made the whatnots last year, I just attached one of these with a cord to my whatnot. But what a lot of people did was put a little pocket on the back of the heart shape. The whatnot was a heart-shaped kind of slow stitcher's friend. And they put a pocket on the back to slip this into, so it wasn't just like kind of flying around, which I thought was a good idea. So I thought I'll make a little pocket for this as well. Look, that piece is perfect, isn't it? Let's see if we can actually just make this piece work. Doesn't need to be huge, it's just enough to contain it, really. No, I think I need to make it bigger than that. The other thing I've done is I've just taken a couple of pieces of felt and done a quick overstitch, leaving a little gap, stuffed it with a bit of polyfill. You could use orts, whatever you've got. I cut another heart and sort of just stitched it on the outside. And I just thought I'm gonna hang this. I've made a twisted cord with some of my crochet cotton. I'm going to attach this here. I'm going to put a couple of beads on the end there, so it'll be on there almost like a bookmark. So it'll be like a little charm. And I think it'll look quite cute dangling off the book, but it would also function as a small pincushion for when you're working with this. A little portable slow stitchers workstation. I've dug out, I thought I'll go with Gina's initials, so I've put GR here. I've got these little beads that got GR in coordinating kind of colours, and I'm going to thread them on here and retie that knot and then stitch that on there, and that'll be it. Then it'll be all ready to send. It'll be a useful little thing for Gina. So let's just get that done. I need to untie this knot first. It took me ages getting this through, so I don't want to undo it. There are quite large holes in here, so I don't want that coming out. Yeah, see, that's not enough. Need another knot. It's quite cute, doesn't it? So where shall I stitch it? Put it in the middle there somewhere. Right, and then I'm going to make my little pocket to put the needle threader in, and I'll just whip stitch that around, I think. Blanket stitch possibly. There's bits in the orts jar. Right, I think I'm going to start off here by taking my thread underneath the between the layers of fabric there, so the end of the thread gets lost. Make myself a small stitch. A couple of people recently have asked me to just explain a bit more clearly what I'm doing, so let's make this beginner friendly. So I'm pulling that through almost pulling it through, but not quite all the way through, so that this loop is here, and I'm just putting my needle back through the loop, and that makes a knot that helps to anchor it. I'll do once more for luck, so I don't want this coming adrift. So yeah, back through that loop before I pull it all the way through, and there we go, it's got a good knot to secure it. And I'll come out here on this side, just stitch through the loop in this twisted cord I've put through the heart. I'll show you how I did the twisted cord in a minute, in case you've not done that before. And now let's take a couple of stitches here. Let's do three for luck. And now also I'll take it back through this side this time. Just taking a tiny stitch into that backing fabric, and again going back through the loop to make that knot. Let's do it again. Just going back through the loop and then put it through the whole way. And I've got a couple of knots there now to secure it. And now I'm putting it. So one of the questions that was asked recently was, how do you, when you've made the knot, how do you hide it? How do you get it inside? So I just go here now. I'm running my needle in between. I'm not going through. It's not coming through on that side. I'm running it in between the layers. And I bring it out a good little way off, like that. Give that a little tug. That pulls that knot inside, and hides the end in between. And if you just pull it quite tight and cut, then when you let go the tension, it springs back inside, and you can't see the end. That's all that's about. Nothing magical there. So there we go. That's my little pincushion stroke charm. Just cute thing. I'm going to cut these ends off a bit neater now. Or jar, when you hear me, somebody else said, what are you saying when you're talking about where you're putting the ends. It's all these little bits and bobs, tiny bits. I might keep that actually, but tiny bits, ends of threads, that kind of thing go in my orts jar. That's ORTS. If you Google the word orts, you'll find out all about it. The history of it goes way back actually. Basically used to refer to the kind of offcuts of threads and things. I think it goes back to like the spinning and weaving industry and things, textile industry, and but it's just come to mean, in sort of slow stitcher parlance, it's kind of come to mean all those little tiniest scraps of fabric, just the bits you've just trimmed off, just really tiny bits like this. and ends of thread and things as well, like that. And you can, keep them in a jar. You can do all sorts of things with them. You can just use them for stuffing, or if you go and check out Create and Craft with Christine, she does all kinds of creative things with orts. I'm going to make this my pocket for the needle threader. This is a good little needle threader for slow stitches because it's good for those big eyes and chunkier threads. So it's not like the kind of fine wire ones you get for kind of normal sewing. This is a really handy one for slow stitching. Okay, I've probably got enough thread there to stitch this on, so I only need to go around these 3 sides, don't I? Or should I put it in the back? No, I'm going to put it here. So again, I'm going to lose my thread in between the layers. I'm not coming through there. And just coming out here. I'm using 2 strands of a stranded embroidery thread, but you could use perlé, whatever you like to use. Just wanted something that would show up more than normal sewing thread. So I'm just going to do another double stitch to secure that. And now I'm going to just do a kind of a whip stitch all the way around. So I'm just going straight across and then taking my needle down at an angle and coming out a little bit further down on the felt side. Oops, have I got a knot there? What have I done? Oops, okay. And now going back across to the calico side. This is a calico backing. Just doing a little small straight stitch and then down at an angle again, back out on the felt side. And I will do that all the way around. And that'll be enough to hold this little pocket. It's not going to take a lot of strain after all, is it? I could make it a prettier stitch. I could do a blanket stitch or something, or perhaps a Y stitch would be nice down there. I do need to get this in the post tomorrow morning for Gina, so I need to get this done. Oh, I've just unthreaded my needle now. That doesn't help, does it? As I say, I just think really we do our slow stitch pieces just for the joy of doing them, but if you can find a way to make use of them so that you see them all the time, you might as well, rather than having a utilitarian needlebook or one that everybody else has got. You've got something unique. So I've got some other ideas for things you can do with your slow stitch pieces, which I will share in a minute. I've anchored that with a couple of double stitches, and now I'm taking the thread back between the layers again. Put it tight, snip, and it bounces back inside. That's my little pocket already. That will just be ideal size for that. And now I'm just going to put a piece of cord through here. Cut this a good couple of times or more, longer than I want it. To make the twisted cord, I just fold it in half. I put my finger through the loop, hold on to the other end, and I just twist and twist and twist. Just go like this. And you see it gradually start to twist up. So there we go, it's starting to twist, but I'm going to go a little bit further. It's twisted like that, and now I'm going to fold it in half, and I tend to grab halfway along with my teeth. I'm not going to do that because it's for Gina. But basically you want to fold it in half and then just let it twist itself together like that, and you get this twisted cord effect. You can twist it a lot more tightly than that as well, get it really tightly tightly twisted cord if you want to. Let's put a knot there. Stop that untwisting. Putting it through. Right, I'm going to put another knot in because I don't want it coming through that hole. Nudge that right up to the other knot. Here we go. It's got a really nice big fat knot now. Hopefully that won't go through the hole. Yeah, that seems to be fine. So that's my needle threader, and now I'm going to stitch that on here. Maybe I'll put it underneath here. I was working on this during the Whip and Waffle Wednesday, and it was Paula's idea to put this scraggly bit, which I didn't want to cut off, to put it on the inside, and I'm really glad she gave me that idea because I wouldn't have thought of it, and I love it. I just love it when we all inspire each other and bounce ideas off each other. Right, so I've secured that, and now I've taken the thread out underneath, and that's it. So that gives me enough length to be able to thread the needle, but not so much length that it's going to be a nuisance. And now I can just pop that in the pocket so it's not dangling around, and there we go. That's it, I'm done. I love that. And then the whole lot will fold together like this. I've just put a button there, and I've stitched that piece of, I used a bit of sari ribbon, but you could use lace, you could use normal ribbon, you could use a tube of fabric that you stitched, whatever you like. This is the easiest kind of closure there is. I just wind it around like that. It can wind around the, in fact, let's just do it that way. I think that's real cute. So let's see if I can get my little thumbnail. Now, I just wanted to quickly show you some other ideas. So this needle book that I've actually been using for this project. This is a piece, it's not my own slow stitching, it's a patchwork of embroideries that I got in a bazaar scrap pack. But you can see that you could do this with any piece of stitching. You can adjust it to fit whatever the size sort of sample of stitchery that you've got to work with. And I just stitched one piece of felt in this time. I've done a whipped chain stitch down there to add a bit of interest, and I made it. This is actually a Suffolk puff that I stitched in to act as a little, and I put a button in the middle, a little vintage button to act as the pincushion, and just a bit of embroidery around there just for the sake of it. And this lining piece that's all different, like stained yellow and things there, was actually how this piece came, and that was actually how this piece came as part of this bit. This is where this has been couched down. But yeah, that's a really handy little thing. I use this all the time. I will tend to put my bobbins of thread, I'll throw them inside as well, and even the scissors, and I wrap up the whole lot. It comes downstairs with me or wherever I'm going to be working, and and that is just a very simple closure. I've not even got the button there. It's just a wrap around like that. And I think you can never have too many of these, because I'll have different ones on the go for different projects with different colours of threading and stuff, you know. So it's a nice little gift for a slow stitchy friend, or for anybody who might need. Everybody needs sewing supplies at some point. Right, so that's those. I just wanted to quickly show you as well some of the other pieces that Maggie's given me, which I will be over the weeks. I'm going to be eking them out over the weeks, over the months. But Maggie has given me these to use for giveaways. Look at this piece, and this would just go onto a scroll. Just needs a decorative scroll to put it on, centre, you know, spool to put it on. Absolutely gorgeous. I've looked at these pieces of Maggie's before, so I'm not going to look at them in too much detail now, but you can see the kind of gorgeousness. She just takes these beautiful coloured threads. She uses perlé threads, and she just takes that thread for a walk and explores all the patterns that are in the fabrics. Absolutely beautiful. Here's another one that would make a great needlebook. Gorgeous, gorgeous. This one's a bit bigger. You could actually tri-fold this one. Have it like that. So these will all, over the coming months, these will all be given away. I've got enough beautiful pieces that Maggie's given to me before but I can bear to part with these. And I just wanted to show you too these great big ones. Now these would make bags or cushion covers, wouldn't they? Fabulous. So again, you know, this is the kind of thing that where I've had comments where people will say, well, yeah, but what are you going to do with them? So many things you can do with beautiful pieces like this, apart from just take them out and stroke them for the texture and enjoy the colour and dribble over them every so often and put them away again. There are so many other things you can do. Now, there are a couple of other ideas that I've done videos on in the past. This is the most recent one, just the other day. I made this, what I'm calling a slow stitches flow book. So this was a way to use some Manx quilted squares that I'd made. I've put 4 of them together here, and then I've put 2 little fabric loops here. One's got a book ring for my bobbins. The other one I've put trims and things on. There's this pocket here to shove smaller pieces. There's a this ribbon tied piece here has got strips going through it, and obviously there's plenty of scope there to make that loop bigger if I've got more pieces there. There's a little felted piece here where I can just put needles and pins and things. I've pinned an extra bit of ribbon there too. And in practice, probably what I'd end up doing is with these extra pieces that I've got here, I'll just shove them in like that, fold the whole lot up, and I'm ready to go. And the idea of this being what I'm calling a flow book is that you would pull together coordinated fabrics, trims, threads and things, and you've got it, and it's kind of a little project kit all waiting to go. You could just make these up in different colour combinations and make yourself up little kits ready to go. I love having a little kit. If you make a kit up out of your own stuff, it just makes it all the more fun, doesn't it? It's like wrapping up something you've already got and giving it as a present to yourself. There we go. And I thought it looked quite cute just to have the bow on the outside. And obviously it's just so stuffed now, it's not folding together neatly anymore, but that doesn't matter. It still holds it all together. This was the first one I did ages ago. These were my first attempts at Manx quilting, and I actually did some straight stitching all over them as well. And in this case it's still fabric flow book in the same way. Stitching project flow book, I don't know what to call it really, but I just did these loops and I made a cardboard piece that is removable so that I could, in theory, collect up different little coordinated pieces of fabric and threads and things, trims and what have you, put them all on here. I could use the clips as well to clip bits on. This is elasticated, and then I can take whichever one I want to work on that day, pop it inside here, and Bob's your uncle. So that was one idea to do with pieces like this. So it doesn't have to be Manx quilted, but any kind of slow stitch pieces that you're not sure what to do with. That's one idea. Another lovely idea with square pieces like that are these little Japanese rice bags. And these are 2 that friends have made for me. Look, how gorgeous is that? So this one, I've got all my tatting stuff in there. These are such lovely little project bags. Absolutely gorgeous. Now these are just lovely pieces of fabric, but again, they could be squares of slow stitched work. Definitely. Quilted pieces, patchwork pieces, whatever. And this is Claire made me this one. Jackie sent me this badge. And again, very handy as a little project pack. What have I got in here in this one? I've just got my little darning loom in here. Really handy little bags for keeping your little projects and things in. And again, doesn't have to be done with lovely fabrics. It can be done with slow stitch pieces. And then the last idea to share today, well actually these are 2 separate ideas really. This was what ended up happening with my, in case anybody's ever wondered what I did with it, my scrappy string quilt. This looks so much more vivid and gorgeous in real life than it does on camera. I had so much fun with this, and I thought, what am I going to do with it? And in the end I just did this. I just folded it up like this, backed it onto another piece of gorgeous patchworked embroidery from a bazaar pack, This was in a bazaar pack as well, although you could definitely, this is a kind of slow stitching style where you just cover the whole piece with gorgeous straight stitching. Just feels so lovely. And then the whole lot just folds together like this, and it's not for any particular purpose, it doesn't have to be for me, but it's a nice way to keep it. That you can stack them up on a shelf like books along with your art journals and things, and every so often you can take them out and have a look and enjoy them. And then this one is more of a useful thing. This was when I was so into Kawandi quilting I couldn't stop. I want to get back into Kawandi again this year. So I was looking for different ways to use the pieces, and for this one I made it into a journal wrap. So the idea is you would put the journal in there, and then I've got different pencils and things here. That was in the wrong place. And then more space for bits and pieces here as well. Oh look, I'd forgotten about that. Somebody was asking the other day about, I can't remember who it was now, about making a wrap to keep crochet needles in, and I'm suggesting this video as one that you could, because I did do, I'll try and remember to link all these videos where I've made these things. You could definitely adjust this idea to fit knitting needles or crochet hooks or whatever, by just making more of these slimmer pockets like I've done for the pencils and things. And you wouldn't need the big one for the art journal, although you might want one to put your patterns in or whatever. So the idea with this one is I would then fold it down, fold it up and do this, but it's adjustable, so if I had a bigger book I wouldn't have to fold it down, I would just fold it like this. So yeah, it will just fold up to fit whatever you've got, and it's a really nice useful thing and a nice way of using whatever slow stitched pieces you've got. In this case, as I say, Kawandi, but it could just as well be any other kind of quilting or slow stitch samplers or whatever, and looks lovely stacked up on a shelf, as I say, with your journals or whatever. So yeah, that is a few different ideas. Thinking I'm going to make another thumbnail now, because I think it would be nice to show all of these too. So here we go. That's one I've actually been working on today. But yeah, there are so many ideas. I've got loads and loads of ideas for using these little slow stitch pieces. So if you like this kind of thing, keep watching. The ideas just never stop coming. Thanks very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. What do you do with your slow stitch pieces? Anybody else got any other ideas they'd like to share? Please feel free to drop them in the comments or show pictures in the Facebook group and or the Discord community. They're all free to join. I will put my link tree in the description box so you can find your way to them if you haven't already. I'd also like to say before I go, thank you so much to all of our channel members. I'm going to put a list of them just here. I finally worked out how to get a scrolling list to work of all of the lovely people who've already joined the channel. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying using the emojis that we've created and getting a bit more involved with members polls and things. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying it, and we really, really appreciate your support. Please don't anybody feel obligated or apologise if you can't or don't want to join. It's absolutely no obligation. I don't want anyone to feel like that. Really appreciate the people that have, but I don't want anyone to feel bad if they can't or don't want to. It's fine. Really appreciate it if you could click the like button, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed. That's all free. But don't feel bad if you can't join. It's fine. But thank you to all of those of you who have. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling now. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.